Did you not know how to use the internet before ChatGPT came out? Like that existed.
What are Cliff
before.
Notes?
Yeah. Do you guys remember Spark Notes?
I do remember Spark Notes.
Like the original.
And I'm not too hoity-toity to say no. I read everything. I said I'm not. I use Spark Notes.
I know. I think I've never read a book that had a Spark Note available.
Oh, if it had a Spark, yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
That surprises nobody.
Yeah. Yeah, my dad always told me to work smarter, not harder.
I'm sorry I got you that Willie Mays book whenever that came out, JP, but if there had been a Spark Notes for, hey, super fun Willie Mays biography, I don't know if that book has been assigned in any English class, but next time I teach English somewhere, I will assign that book to make sure.
Oh, yeah.
Rest in peace, Willie.
Rest in peace. Mm-hmm. Say hey, kid. And say hey to you two. Great to see you.
Hey!
It feels like it's been a while just because it's been one more day than usual. It's a Tuesday night that we're recording this, August 20th, 2024. I have been given word that over in Chicago, no matter who you're voting for, we're not going to tell you who to vote for. We do encourage you to go exercise your right to vote. That's pretty cool thing about this country we live in. But we have been given confirmation that Barack Obama is waiting until we're done recording before he gives his speech at the Democratic National Convention tonight. So 44th president.
Rock.
He has his own, every single president gets their own live YouTube link of the Belligerent Beavs podcast. So we make the occasional milestone episode live on YouTube, but it's one of the things they're briefed on where it's in that same little iPad briefcase where they get the codes to the nukes. They also get their private viewing link. Yeah. So Barack was like, when this show's done. So we will go through this in an efficient manner, but not too efficient because this is a Belligerent Beavs podcast and we've got to have fun.
Let's go.
It's pretty much the last off-season podcast we get to have you guys.
Ooh,
and I love our off-season podcasts as a purveyor of nonsense.
Are we doing predictions next week?
We're doing predictions next week.
We have to put some props together.
Someone's getting beaten 42-14 this year.
And how many times?
I can feel it.
Somebody, a lot of people.
Yeah.
A lot. 12 people. 10 teams.
Yeah.
So the fourth annual predictions episode next week. Wow.
Have you gone back and looked to see if any one of us has ever gotten a game completely right?
No, I should though. No. I bet you it's happened once or twice.
Well, we review it every week, don't we?
Yeah, but I don't know if we used to.
But I don't remember.
Think season 1 of the Belligerent Beavs podcast.
Yeah,
we did.
No one remembers anything of season 1 of the Belligerent Beavs podcast. I remember Benny wrote a haiku to Larry Scott. And then after that, I was like, this podcast is too dangerous for the college football media right now. They got to bury us deep.
But I think we did a predictions recap every week after the game. We looked back at the prediction.
I feel like we've done that every year.
That back this year.
Yeah, we should.
No, I don't think we did that last year.
All right.
I think we were so.
I don't know if we did a recap, but we just mentioned oh yeah, you picked, or maybe we did it before the game. I don't know. But I wrote it down. Yeah. I can find those notes again.
Yeah, find them again.
Yeah.
But hold us accountable.
Bring it back.
Holding you guys accountable is not what drives the most fun on this here podcast. It's letting us all run wild is kind of why we're here. But if you want some restrictions, I'll give you some restrictions.
Let me know if I've ever gotten one completely right. I don't care about you guys. I got them right.
Oregon State did not go 13-0 in 2021 and win the national championship. So
they should have.
I remember, speaking of 2021, the first season of the Belligerent Beavs podcast, Betty, and we talk about this on the group chat a lot. Benny and I had a great weekend in West Lafayette, Indiana, Shout out to West Lafayette. Shout out to the Purdue fans who made it fun. Shout out even more to the Purdue fans who tried to make it not fun and inadvertently made it more fun.
Yes, they did.
But I remember that was the first game of that season, and like 9 people listened to the podcast, a little bit more than that, whatever. But it was so fun because we were so excited about doing whatever, and we met some listeners out there, which was great. And I remember just where the final seconds are ticking down of a game we should have won but lost against another Power 5 opponent on the road. Sound familiar? Oregon State. And Benny just looked at me and was like, now all of my predictions I made on the pod last week are fucked. It's like, this podcasting life is already getting to Benny. We might not make it a full season. And now we've got the 4th annual predictions episode coming up, and you're still here, Benny. We're all still here.
I'm glad you're still here, man.
I am too. I am glad that Jonathan Smith is not here, and I'm convinced that is the catalyst of why my predictions were fucked. If they would have just given Tret Bray the keys to the kingdom at that moment, I'm convinced it would have been 13-0. And had Ryan Gunderson as the offensive coordinator.
Right.
They would have done it.
Yeah.
But that's why we have this year.
That's why we have this year.
Episode 13 is called Episode 13. Benny's national championship prediction dies a devastating death.
It's not the first time that's happened in West Lafayette, as our friend Travis Miller from the Purdue SB Nation site mentioned. Ohio State almost always loses at Purdue. They've lost a couple of chances to compete for national championships at that stadium. So I think that's just an unlucky place for OSU. But this year, Purdue has to play us at our place. So we'll talk more about that game in the predictions episode.
For them.
But we're going to make their national championship hopes die a devastating death.
Purdue needs no help in that. I can assure you.
We'll kick things off.
Wait, are we playing them in men's basketball? No? Okay, I think we're fine.
We would do all right men's basketball this year. I feel like this team has some aces up its sleeve.
Yeah.
Or under its tank top.
Should we just talk about men's basketball the entire time in an episode on August 20th?
Let's go.
Hey, after talking with Steve Johnson, it seems like if we don't have some aces up our sleeve, we're about to have some aces dealt to us by the dealer.
Ooh.
The card dealer in this analogy.
Who is the card dealer?
The good vibes are coming.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Think it has
2 aces.
2 aces.
Double down.
And I don't know if this is on our show notes or not, but
I pared them down this week because they were apparently too long last week.
Did you see President Murthy's interview with
Canzano? Yeah, it was a great interview.
I haven't fully watched it yet.
Oh, she brought up some really good points about partnering with Jensen. And and
what did she say?
Well, Canzano's like, are you going to try to convert him into a sports fan? And she's like,
I'm trying.
We're trying. And he's like, are you going to get him out to a game this year? And she's like, we're really trying. So
it was a good interview. It was a diplomatic interview where like there's a few things to read in the tea leaves there, but she didn't like levy any hot takes, but like it was thoughtful answers given by, a type of leader who's having to play politics, and reaffirmed my belief in her. And there was one great joke in it where Canzano was like, speaking of branding and marketing and throwing a lot of money at branding and marketing and shiny objects, you have a competitor just down the road who's throwing a lot of money in those areas. And she said, you're talking about Western Oregon, right?
40 miles away.
Yeah.
And I was
Western Oregon, right?
Murthy's got jokes. I love it.
Yeah, she gets it.
Yeah. But I got a question for y'all. If you're bringing Jensen, Mr. Huang,
we're just
to a
diving
game,
into this. Yes.
But like, honestly, looking at the schedule this year, I think you have to consider the factors of, will there be fans in the stands? Most likely, yes. For most, if not all home games.
Better be.
I'm saying, but if they trot him out there midway through the second quarter, midfield, okay, which game do you feel safest about doing that, where it has the most ultimate impact from the fan involvement?
I would say Oregon. Still probably before classes start, but also playing them early in the year kind of guarantees it will be full. Yes, there will be Duck fans there, but I think him being in that environment and seeing how important it is, the energy will be different. Like, we're going to talk about how, like, oh, it doesn't feel like the Civil War because it's not November, and yes, those reasons are bullshit. But when that day starts and the sun rises and it's like, we're playing fucking Oregon today, we're hopefully 2-0, and they will likely be 2-0, and there'll be a lot of hype, there'll be a lot of smoke, and just a lot, like, the engines will be revved. So I think get him in there. I would probably trot him out there middle of the first quarter just to try and curb any type of disasters that might happen. If you do, if he wants to be, you got to convince him that going on the field during the game is a thing. But, like, I think you don't, even if you get your ass kicked that day and Jensen Huang's there, like, he's not going to be like, oh, well, fuck this. You know, he's already pretty invested in the university and the future. And even if that, like, getting your ass kicked, that might be a good thing. Be like, wow, like, yeah, they really need a couple $2 billion here. And if you're close and it's a close loss, he's like, they just need a little bit more. Here's a couple $2 billion. And if you win, and it's like, wow, what a great program. What a fun wave to keep riding. Here's a couple $2 billion. So I would just go with the Civil War game.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the safest bet, in the sense of, if you do it early, the energy would be there. But would the impact be the same as if we were dominating mid fourth quarter and he gets pulled out in the fourth? Not for Oregon, but in a game in general.
Sure.
Like, is there a game that you can say we'll have the fans
for sure there,
full of fans, and for sure there by the fourth quarter, while we're blowing the team out, or while we take the lead late in the game? I do feel like I agree for the most part. I don't know how much you would care about the circumstances of the actual.
Right.
Like,
you just want to make sure people are there and show this is an important thing.
Yes.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
But you can't deny that there is a different level of crowd involvement when the crowd is excited about a team doing what we wanted them to do on paper, but performing on the field, or making a comeback and they just took the lead, versus, like, it's early in the game, even against a rival.
I think so the Oregon game is the one that I think is that's the obvious one. Like, the crowd's going to be on a different level for that game as they normally are. The alternative to that would be a night game. And I don't think it matters who you play or when you play them, but it gives you a chance to show off all your bells and whistles. And I think just like Oregon, where there's the crowd is different, maybe not majorly so, but there's a different vibe to a Civil War game than a normal game. There's also a different vibe to a night game. And for as much as people rightfully dislike night games, especially people that have kids.
I love night games.
Well, yeah, but me too.
I don't dislike them, but I don't like paying for hotel rooms.
Yeah, exactly, right? And there's only a limited amount of hotel rooms. But it's
less
undeniable that night game vibes are awesome, and that orange light makes that game vibe even more awesome.
When you're playing Wazoo at 4 p.m. on November 23rd, the sun's going to be pretty much gone by the time it kicks us off anyway. And that's technically a late afternoon.
That game's definitely going to be,
that would be one of them,
especially.
But you're banking on the season going well at that point, and if things.
But would that make sense though, to bring him out to see, like, these are the two programs that have kind of been left for dead?
Right.
Yeah,
that would make sense.
I think there would be It would make sense for sure, and I think that would be that and Oregon are the intriguing storylines. Right. And I think Oregon, you can, because this is all a sales pitch to Jensen's
So it's, how are you gonna like strike the right chord with the guy, resonate with whatever?
Well, and ultimately,
actually, have some sort of compassion for or excitement for.
Here's where I think the angle is. If you are the CEO of a Fortune 500 company, and not even that's like putting it so mildly. If you're the CEO of a Power 7 company and one that had the highest market cap, at least for a certain period of time this year, you have a certain level of ego to you. And Jensen seems like a super nice guy, but there's no way that guy doesn't have a massive ego. And I think if you pair that up and go, look, Oregon State is superior to Oregon in so many different ways. The difference is this other really, really rich guy is funding this program, and we don't have a really, really rich guy funding our program. And look at all the love this guy's getting. Right. Sure. Like, I think that's sort of the angle that you want to go towards.
And every school pretty much, every kind of blue chip school has somebody like that.
Yeah.
And we've always kind of said like, the
Beaver way.
The Reesers are our, sugar
Built, not
family.
bought.
Yeah.
Because but I
would let Jensen Huang buy so many things for Oregon State.
Yeah.
And then ultimately what this is going to come down to is Jensen's schedule. So, I mean, I think the opponent doesn't really matter. If we see that guy in Reeser for a game this year, hopefully they have some notice. And Murphy,
I don't think they're going to tell anybody that he's coming out.
But then they could
he's too valuable.
He is too valuable. So that's just like, but you can be like, hey kids, it would be really, really great if you all stuck around in your seats for this time in this game. Just be like, hey, we're bringing back Bernice and she wants to see you. And then you bring back Bernice too. And Bernice like walks Jensen Huang.
Or you just tease it. You just say, we're going to have a really special guest that's going to be joining us in the second quarter at some point.
Right.
Yeah. Right.
We're going to have a really special, really rich guest who you've all been begging us to get money from. Guess who it might be?
So if
you get him in the walls of Reeser during a huge win, is a win.
And if our credentials are approved, I will do my best to be positioned very nicely near Jensen so I can
what's up to him
for an investment in the Belligerent Beavs podcast. As a sleeping giant.
Jay, we want him to come.
Just like NVIDIA 20 years ago. I'll just be like, we're just like NVIDIA. We're essentially the same thing.
Have you heard of
this
new
market called podcast?
What's your favorite song? I'll play 5 seconds of it.
Anytime you want, Jensen. Anytime. Even in my sleep. For the rest of my life.
Do you like Local Boys?
We'll buy you the 5A.
We'll buy you the 5A.
And we'll give you a Don't Steal the Sauce t-shirt.
We'll steal the sauce for you, Jensen. We made Don't Steal the Sauce.
Yeah, I would steal the sauce for him. Sorry,
all right. Well, it's a perfect time now to introduce our special guest for this episode, Jensen Huang. Thank you for joining.
What's up, Jay? I just call him Jay.
One of these days, I call him Bay.
Okay. Wow. What me?
Man, I don't have a good nickname for him.
Sen.
Oh, Benny's microphone issue doesn't pick up his laugh. That's sad.
What?
Your laugh is too piercing.
Yeah,
it just cuts out.
Dang.
Here's the deal. Benny got a really kick-ass cool new job that makes his life a lot better. The unfortunate part of it is his old work computer was what he was potting on, and there is a miscommunication between his now personal computer and the microphone that is better. So we're dealing with the built-in for now.
Does Amazon own part of our podcast because you produce some of it
oh no
on a company computer?
They'd probably try to take it.
All right,
They would definitely
they could
try
take
to
out
take
of my dead hands, holding hands with Jensen Huang.
Yeah,
We're alluding to too many billionaires. We're alluding to too many billionaires on this episode of the show. We might
we're losing our demographic.
We might get stripped down.
Except for them billionaires.
Or
What's up,
donate.
Jeff?
Yeah, Jeff. If you want to save
him, Jay.
Hey, Jeff, if you want to save a little bit of money on your seam-headed order, promo code CHOP'EM at checkout will get you 31% off. It's a 69 joke. It will save you some money, as we know that you want to do. Anyway,
was that a plug? Do we have to mark this as a promoted episode?
Do we have to mark this as a promoted episode? No, we need more money from Pat then. Pat the Bat for marketing seam-headed outside of college baseball season.
How dare him not sell merch when it's not college baseball?
Yeah,
I guess he is professional.
He is
MLB.
He does do professional.
Right.
Yeah.
Still.
I'd rather not talk about professional as a Mariners fan.
Yeah, we don't have to talk about pro baseball right now.
No.
We can do it.
Yeah,
we can.
How about we cheers to Jensen Huang?
We can cheers to Jensen
We
Huang.
have to talk about our beers, though.
We gotta talk about our beers. I'll start because I'm actually pretty stoked. I'm out of beer. Trying to drink less beer as I'm gearing up for a wedding. No big deal. In a long time
in
from
like
now.
a year. Yeah,
Not quite a year.
Oh, okay.
Time flies.
I've seen your Peloton numbers go up, Terry.
The last 10 days.
You're crushing it.
The last 10 days I've been crushing it. And I'm good because how like my cords didn't work for a while, so it wasn't even tracking my metrics on rides. And then magically it started working again. During a ride recently, it stopped working for about 4 minutes. And I got to start working again. And then afterwards, the thing cut up. So it was like, oh, you rank 40,000 of the 78,000 people who have ever taken this ride. And I was like, if I had gotten those 4 minutes, I would have been top 20,000 Peloton. So you know I'm back up on my motivation.
There's definitely a joke in here. I don't know what it is, but I think this is a you problem and not the saddle.
It's not the saddle. It's
just
the cords.
What's the cords?
It's your cord.
It's
the
way it was installed. It's just not my fault. I didn't install the fucking
blaming
thing.
God. You're blaming God.
I'm not blaming God. I'm blaming
for your cord problems.
And then when they said, yeah, we'll come out and fix it, they no-showed me 3 times. So, hey, Peloton, I'm still working out on your platform, but your customer service is a fucking joke.
Whoosh. Anyways, you'll listen. When you listen back, you'll hear it. Tell me what you're drinking.
I'm drinking a Brandy Manhattan in a cocktail glass with a Minnesota Vikings helmet on it, which is ironic.
Why don't you ever drink out of the bone I gave you?
It's right here.
Yeah. Is it right there?
Yeah.
Put it in the bone. Make this more innuendo focused.
Here's the bone.
Yeah. Put it in the
Suck
bone,
out of
damn
the
it.
bone.
Yeah. Drink that bone.
Gargle it out of the bone.
Yeah.
Terry.
Wait, no. Oh. Hey!
What was that?
That thing was full of dust. You just drank dust.
Dust and brandy.
Bone dust.
But the Brandy Manhattan is a Wisconsin drink, so I'm sure they're all mad about me putting it in a Minnesota Vikings cocktail glass and then bone. I didn't put the whole thing in there, so I still have some left. But anyway, yeah, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. I saw a photo I took of that like
10 years ago.
10 years ago today.
I
just got it from
before
Hagar. What's his name? Hagar?
Oh, yeah, something.
Yeah, that was him.
Right.
He was like the Viking in Vikings like stands fandom.
I met that guy at Lambeau, and he was like, he's been to like essentially every Vikings game ever. But he
looked like a fat Viking.
Yeah,
just like
that's who he is.
Yeah.
Because when people get accused like, oh, you've made being a fan of this team your entire personality. He's like, I know. Aren't I doing a great job of it? But yeah, this Viking horn, badass. Thank you, JP. And yeah, Brandy Manhattan.
I don't know what kind of horn it actually is.
Yeah,
it looks very horny.
It is horny.
Like your cable from your rides.
Anyway,
that was good.
That's what I'm doing.
Starburst. It's good.
We've never asked you this, JP, I don't think, but what is your favorite?
So I don't know.
Whoa.
I think everyday bites, or everyday, Starburst, I would go with a red and pink combo. But when I need a quick hit, I like the citrus, and the orange
There you go.
is good, but the yellow really does the trick.
Because people hate on the yellow.
Yeah, people do hate on the yellow.
So I love that.
Yeah.
But also the answer, you're on the Belligerent Beavs podcast, so the answer is orange. But
yeah,
I
the
also
orange is the everyday citrus hit, which is always good.
I love pink.
Pink used to be my favorite. Now pink is my least favorite. Orange and then red. Orange and red are just like superior.
Orange,
in
red,
every way.
yellow, pink is your order.
Yeah,
you might be the
really.
You might be. I'm not mad at you. I mean, I'm a little mad at you because you just bit into a Nature Valley again.
Chewy bar.
It is a Nature Valley bar.
Jesus Christ!
Why is it so like
I understand.
Wrinkly? Like crinkly?
It looked like a Quaker Oats
154 episodes.
You had to rip it out of your.
Still don't grasp the concept of quiet food on the podcast.
It's like basically a candy bar.
Why don't you consume quiet food like brandy or beer?
or beer? There's a cherry in this.
Peanuts.
And I bet,
Or is that quiet?
No,
that's pretty loud.
Is the Nature Valley bar your
well?
Or do you have any drugs?
Yeah. I did start. So I don't if I've talked about this. Stop me, but I have started to smoke my own homegrown stuff, which is very nice. It's a mellow. It doesn't get me. It's the opposite of Purple Urkel. It doesn't get me to the moon. It's just a nice little.
Oh, but it's a super moon right now, though. I think
it's
a super moon while Mercury's in Gatorade.
It's real crazy. It is.
It's Mercury's in Gatorade.
Mercury's in the super.
The supermoon flavor. That would be a good new flavor.
I guess it's more Powerade. That was what's that flavor, Powerade? Oh, is that like no, this is Arctic Freeze. Like, what does Arctic Freeze taste like? It was like blueberry or something, but Powerade had to
there's the energy drink. There's the Prime energy drink. That's the Logan Paul, whatever drink.
Oh, yeah.
There is a moon flavor.
Get Logan Paul. Get Logan Paul to an Oregon State football game this year.
It's called Meta Moon. I don't know what it tastes like.
Meta.
But honestly, the label looks like.
Get Mark Zuckerberg to an Oregon State game this year.
I wonder if when you buy it, if like $100 is immediately scammed out of your bank account.
Probably. No, that's just what it costs.
Well, it's $27 for 6 of them. According to Walmart,
didn't he have he had like a crypto fraud, like he had like a cryptocurrency that people bought into, and then he pulled the rug out from them.
That's surprising.
Yeah.
Sorry, y'all can't do this anymore. Thanks for participating.
Thank you for your money. Anyway, cheers to Jensen Huang. Thank you for your money.
And cheers to Meta Moon flavor.
And hopefully more money.
Meta Moon.
That's honestly what
this is. It is a good name.
It
is a good name. Meta Moon.
I agree. And look, did you guys? I sent you guys all the text. Look at the branding on this hydration drink.
Hydration drink.
It looks cool.
That does look cool.
The Prime, like art inside of the letters kind of reminds me of like a Jordan, like the concrete sort of pattern.
It's like
it reminds me of the Apple Watch, the home screen on your Apple Watch that is like the universe and shows the rings.
Oh yeah.
That's what I always think of it, but without color.
It's like if Deion Sanders was a bottle. That's what the bottle
Deion
would
Sanders
look like.
just do something? Didn't he just like partner up with something?
Did he?
I can't believe
people are still wanting to. Yeah. Wow.
No. He just came out with something. I think his shoes are redropping.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
He had some dope shoes,
man.
Yeah, I'll hand it to him.
Yeah. He's turned into quite the villain. I really, really do like Prime. Yeah. Like I legitimately like him, but the way that he's handled this head coaching position in Colorado has been not great.
I mean, I agree, but it's also like his way. And
but he's going after reporters in a really sort of
some of his stuff's
way.
kind of cringe. Yeah, totally. But I think all around it's been kind of refreshing to have a new like persona as a head coach, which normally everyone kind of just like falls into this like boring coach speak. Won't say too much, won't disrupt things too much, won't give you a quote that's even worthwhile.
Won't speak out against the negativity of conference realignment and says, let's be locked in, and isn't locked in, and bails for the first shitty job that comes around. Coaches are doing that, and that angers me more.
That's my point.
Yeah.
It's like let's think. Smith was like the epitome of this like fall into this like coach persona.
Well, yeah. And like Deion's been a force for good.
Deion is certainly the opposite of Jonathan
like,
Smith.
I like
that
is
for sure.
Yeah. And I don't love I want
people to break the mold.
Done. But yeah, and part of that mold breaking too, like there's now like there's a HBCU combine ahead of the NFL draft that gives kids who are playing at HBCUs like better chances of getting drafted. And also when all this NIL shit started and Nick Saban and Jimbo Fisher were like trading barbs through the media about, you know, who is spending more money on players. Like they didn't name Deion directly, but a lot of that was in response to Travis Hunter going to Jackson State. And people were like, the death of recruiting as we know it, as if like all this under the table shit was happening. I'm like, I think it's kind of cool that the number one rated player in the country is going to a school like Jackson State with a lot of tradition, but it's your current traditional power, whatever. But anyway, we don't need to talk about Deion Sanders. And I know I'm the one who brought up Deion Sanders. So I'm a
how dare you?
Dick. When really, I want to start.
This is an Oregon State podcast.
This is an Oregon State podcast, and we've only ever talked about Oregon State sports the entire time. So I'm so sorry.
If you go back and listen to the other 150,
JP, please play 5 seconds of "It's Too Late to Say That I'm Sorry" by Justin Bieber. I think it's just called "Sorry."
That's what we're gonna spend our 5 seconds on.
We get more than 5 seconds, Benny. And also, I love Beebs. I'll fight you over Beebs. When I see you, when you pick me up, I was gonna say, when you pick me up at the airport on Friday, August 30th, to drive down to Corvallis, Oregon, aka the Paris of the Pacific Northwest, to watch our boys, the Oregon State Beavers, at Oregon State University, aka the Harvard of the Pac-12. I'm still saying it. I was going to hug you. Now I'm going to punch you, and then I'm going to hug you, and then I'm going to punch you again, and then I'm going to play Justin Bieber music in your car. He's going to
punch you right in the Peloton cord.
I'm going to punch you in your Peloton.
We're going to listen to Not Like Us, Meet the Grams, Euphoria.
I don't want to listen to Meet the Grams.
Not Like Us,
I don't want to listen. I love Kendrick.
Euphoria.
I don't want to listen to Meet the Grams. I'll listen to the other two.
That.
No,
and I hope we get stuck. I only
want Benny. I only want to listen to Meet the Grams if Oregon State loses to Idaho State. That is the only time I'll be in the mood to listen to Meet the Grams.
Dude, I listen to those. I have those 3 songs on my workout playlist, and Yuri will come down and she's like, "Dude, I feel like I'm in like the Wicked Witch of the House, the Wicked Witch of the West house." When I listen to this song, it's so creepy.
And you're just on the Peloton with your weighted vest listening to it. While smoking your homegrown weed. Like you're not doing home magic or anything like that. Anyway, I want to start with
magic.
I want to start.
I got a better segue. Speaking of home magic, let's talk about the magic that Oregon State is doing to Reeser Stadium.
Oh, the magic. Oh, the biggest part of the magic. And I trust this is where JP was going with this through now nearly 20 years of friendship and 154 episodes of podcasting. Significant. The word is significant, according to Oregonian reporter Nick Daschel. Significantly more Porta-Potties in Reeser Stadium for the 2024 football season. That is the way to do it. I know Porta-Potties are not, there's a stigma to Porta-Potties. They don't necessarily look that good, but God damn it, it gets people.
They smell good.
Hey, you know what? My dad
they smelled good at first. Have you ever been the first person to use a porta potty?
No. Have you got like high-end porta potties? You can get like a cluster of them delivered, or who knows how long you need to like lease them, but they are like real fancy and like really nice. And you could place those things anywhere and pack them in.
And that's why we need Jensen Huang to get the fancy porta potties.
We need Jensen Huang. But porta potties, yeah, I think this is a great
every
upgrade.
Just hallway, every bit of wall space. How tall are porta potties? About like 6.5 feet tall.
No, like 8.
Whatever. There should be every piece of blank wall space from 0 inches to 8 feet at Reeser Stadium should just have a porta potty everywhere.
We should have 2. You know what? Let's just make this cool and have 2-story porta potties. We'll just build like
with a little ladder
platforms.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love
it. Yeah.
I love it.
Be unique. Man. Come on, we're talking about going outside the box, right?
Yeah.
Go on top of the porta potty.
On top of the
porta
box.
Potty. Yeah.
Oh.
Yes.
Ooh. Yeah, you can figure that out. You just see one pipe that brings it back down to the base.
The problem with a nice bathroom in general is people linger. They take their time.
Right.
They don't rush to get out. Even if there's a good football game going on, they're like, oh, wash my hands slowly for the next hour and a half. It's a slow process when it's a desirable enough scenario. But a porta potty is usually never a desirable scenario to be trapped in for very long. So people do their thing and
people do their thing and they get out. Yeah.
It works. Yeah.
It's true. They do need like a hand warmer in bathrooms, I think, especially in football stadiums, because like the Washington game, for example, you were to go use the restroom,
Benny,
your hands are so
Peloton
cold.
cord is your own hand warmer.
But I have to unbutton my pants to get to my Peloton cord, and that's what's hard. It is difficult. That is what's difficult.
No,
is to like
but no, you can't.
You
can't make the bathrooms more comfortable, Benny, because that's when people linger, like JP was talking about.
Yeah,
Dr. Johnson. I can't believe I'm arming him with pro Packers rhetoric in multiple episodes now. But the most embarrassed I ever was I was at a Vikings Packers game at Lambeau several years ago. That was late season, brutally cold. And, when that happens, the Vikings have played inside since 1982. So the Packer fans are giving us all shit about like, playing football in the north and the outdoors, whatever. And then I will go into the bathroom, and the bathrooms are heated at Lambeau Field, which is kind of necessary because everything would freeze if they weren't. But then there's like 30 fucking Vikings fans during the game chilling in the bathrooms because it's more pleasant. And I'm like, y'all, I'm out here trying to fight for our honor, and you're in here holding each other's Peloton
cords.
Like it's singing whatever. I need y'all out here. So yeah, I'm pro porta potty in almost every.
Even in my own house.
Even my own house. I'm putting a porta potty in the house.
Oh man,
I don't care.
4-bedroom, 3-bath.
In the bathroom. That's the bathroom.
Yeah, and don't try to skip real estate agent and call it a half bath.
Yeah, this is a full bath.
It's full.
There's a
you can bathe in that little sink.
You can.
There's a hand sanitizer dispenser right here. That's bathing.
Yeah.
You dick.
That is the cleanliness.
Dr. Fauci said so.
Yeah, anything is possible.
Yeah.
Isn't that what the great Kevin Garnett said?
He did say
anything is possible. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Or no, he said nothing is impossible.
He said anything's possible.
He said it wrong. He said he said it wrong. He said anything. It was supposed to be for an Adidas ad.
Yeah.
Right? Or a Nike ad.
Well, it was after the NBA Finals, so I don't know if he was thinking anything. But he yelled anything's possible. But the Adidas ad campaign back then was impossible is nothing.
Nothing is impossible.
It was impossible. And impossible is nothing.
Yeah.
Oh.
Well,
he yelled anything's possible.
He did not yell that.
He yelled anything's possible.
Yeah.
The long-time suffering Wolves fan knows exactly what Kevin Garnett said. Please do not question me, or I will talk about.
Speaking about anything is possible, who's starting at quarterback, Terry?
I have no idea, and I honestly don't even know if I want to talk about that. We'll talk about this because we need to. prematurely annoyed at how our fan base will react to anyone announced as the starting quarterback for Idaho State. And here's what I want the coaching staff to do. It's clearly a difficult and important decision. I would not announce the starting quarterback until after the Idaho State game. Because if you can't beat Idaho State while still having like an open quarterback competition,
I agree.
Then we've got bigger problems on our hands, y'all. So I would be fine with Bray saying like, Gulbranson will start, and we're gonna use the whole game to
and we'll have
evaluate
a chance to run with the
Giovanni and Jabari. And I know that, especially in spring, Jabari was limited because of injury. I hear what everyone's saying. The most exciting thing that could have happened was for Jabari to light up fall camp enough to be the undisputed starting quarterback. And he has looked good from people we have on the ground who have been there. But has also looked like a young quarterback and made mistakes, which is, of course, the most reasonable and expected thing that could have happened. And Giovanni's in that boat too. So I'm not upset that a decision hasn't been made yet. I'm also just not worried about it. If they all kind of look mid against Idaho State, then I think I would worry. But and I know, Benny, you kind of mentioned this maybe 2 weeks ago, and I hear what you're saying. I disagree a little bit. I'm just seeing this on Twitter that people saying I won't be excited for this season if Gulbranson's the starter, which I understand where that logic is coming from, because we have Gulbranson's what we have seen. And his last game was not a good one. And I think he is a great teammate and very smart kid who will be remembered fondly no matter what, but has shown himself to be limited as a downfield passer, which I think is fair.
Yeah.
But also, if Jabari or Giovanni aren't ready, I don't think you can just throw them out there as the undisputed starting quarterback just to appease fans or to give into hype, even though hype, an all-time level of importance given your precarious situation. But a disaster would be to declare Jabari or Giovanni the starting quarterback and have them not ready, and then have to go back to Gulbranson knowing those limitations there. And I mean, Gulbranson came in for a different starting quarterback when he got hurt, Chance Nolan, and did pretty well. So I guess wouldn't be too much of a disaster, but you got to know that Jabari and Giovanni are ready. And if they're not ready, then they're just not ready. And I think people saw their highlights and the stars across their name in high school reports and got excited about certain things.
Yeah, the reality is what comes out on the field.
I will say,
and I agree.
I'll let you guys get out of here, or I'll let you guys talk. But I'll just say, I think the first snap.
No, let me get out of here.
JP, bye. The first offensive snap, this isn't the predictions episode, but I will predict that the first offensive snap against Idaho State, Ben Gulbranson will be in at quarterback. That's what I would expect at this point.
Yeah, and again, I agree. But
that doesn't mean he's a starting quarterback. But I think he will take that first snap.
And I'm in agreement there as well. I think we've seen this play out before, where there wasn't a definitive person that separated themselves in camp.
Purdue, 2021.
That we had a lot of new faces, or a couple new faces, and it reminds me in a way, not to say that Gulbranson's going to go down the same path, but it reminds me in a way of Neuer, but differently than it being a transfer. This is the guy who is the most ready right now. And I think that the coaches have to look big picture, but they also have to look game by game. And until you have the confidence in a guy being the guy to take you all season, you can't have the confidence in him to take you game by game, but you also need that game by game confidence. So I feel like there is that game by game confidence of, we know we can get from Ben Gulbranson. We've seen him win, even when he wasn't the sharpest or the most impactful. And for the most part, he kept his name out of the headlines.
Yeah.
Just did it and won. And like, other than the bowl game, he did that. I mean, he won a lot. Otherwise, we have options that are going to potentially make headlines, but we could also lose games. We could lose the first game. We could lose the third game. We could lose, games down later in the season. You have to start with what you can trust. You have to make people earn their way. I mean, Neuer barely made it out of that Purdue game. I don't think he finished the Purdue game.
No, he didn't.
I think he was done at half.
Nolan came in the second half.
Yeah,
and was better.
And then Nolan,
we might have won,
which is
fine.
Yeah,
maybe, but I don't think that's going to be the same case this year because of a little bit easier of a lead up.
Right.
From
the benefit of starting against an FCS
team.
Right.
Yeah.
Especially
but I think
given
that the coaches can see the same kind of things that happened with the Neuer situation and go, okay, we tried this out. It was maybe the surest bet out of camp. Now we got to go with the guy who maybe gives us the best.
But until the lights come on, you don't.
Maybe he wasn't ready today. But let's throw him in the fire and see what happens. And I want to be surprised if that does happen, not for Idaho State. Maybe Purdue. Well, who's game week 2?
San Diego State.
Oh, San Diego State. Yeah.
I think you need to kind of have some clarity at San Diego State by week 2.
But I don't.
We
will have clarity.
Hopefully,
have clarity at SDSU before we come back and play at home.
Right.
Because I think it's okay to have this happen on the road. That's essentially what happened with Neuer. Like, I think that the fans would have been a lot harder on both quarterbacks for Nolan and Neuer if that game happened at home. So I think that I would love to have a quarterback solidified and it'd be a very clear ownership of the starting role by week 2. But I would not be surprised if by week 2 they were still using that game to kind of weigh what options they have. And not just weigh them, but determine for who's going to be the guy going forward. And it might take an L one of those 2 weeks to get that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I think we need to be prepared for that.
It can't be week 1.
I disagree with you.
That else.
Yeah.
Oh, totally.
Yeah, that would be
week 2 would be bad
the
too.
Worst loss that Oregon State would probably have ever had.
They're in the midst of a huge rebuild. So
I agree with you guys. If McCoy or if Jabari or Giovanni are not ready, you know what you're getting with Gulbranson. But where I would push back a little bit is the coaches that were making these decisions with Gulbranson, right? Like, and saw what he could do, are not there. So like if you're comparing, right, like the Purdue game and see what you got, like the coaches that were making those choices aren't there.
Massive turnover.
Also, there is, and here's why I
also
worry
there's no
about
offensive coordinator for the bowl game when Ben got in.
That is true. Yeah, that's fair. That bowl game was crazy.
Ben was the offensive coordinator.
Yeah,
and the quarterback.
Right. Yeah, but the other thing, like looking at it from Ryan Gunderson comes in, and I don't know. I haven't heard if Ryan had a good relationship with Giovanni, but I know he had a good relationship with Jabari, and he was recruiting him heavy out of high school to come to UCLA. And so you have Jabari, I would imagine, is kind of Gundy's dude. And it would concern me if he is not ready, particularly because Gulbranson, like JP said, look, he didn't allow his name to be in the headlines. And that is what you want from a quarterback when you have Damian Martinez as your running back and one of the best offensive lines in the country, and Silas Bolden to throw to, and Anthony Gold to throw to. and you have weapons that can take that lift off of you. I like our skill players right now, but those players that I just mentioned are proven, bona fide NFL caliber players. I don't think I don't think I would get much argument back saying like we just don't know.
Sure.
And I think that would be giving the players on the team right now a huge benefit of the doubt to say that they stack up to those players, because those players just their reputation speaks for themselves.
Right.
So
well, and that
but putting whoever you put in as quarterback is going to have to make plays.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where I think that Jabari, specifically talking about Jabari, I think he is going to make mistakes. He's never gotten a chance at the college level, so you don't know what you're going to get. But he's young. You're going to make mistakes, but he could also improvise and make plays and keep defenses on their toes. I don't think Branson can do the same thing. And so if you have Branson, I could see the offense just getting super stagnant and not being able to move the ball. They might not be turning it over, but it's just like 3 and out, maybe a first down, and then you're punting the ball. So
what I would
that's where my concern.
What I think needs to be present in all these quarterback conversations is, I think no matter who it is, the strength of this offense in 2024 is going to be the running game. Thomas Ford had a great quote about just how spectacular Jam Griffin and Anthony Hankerson have looked thus far. Neither of those guys participated at all in the last scrimmage, just because the coaching staff doesn't need to see anything from them. Like they're going to be a huge part of the offense. The offensive line, I think, will be I already know enough about the offensive line to be pretty confident they'll be a great run blocking unit. I think they can be a great pass blocking unit, but I think that part of it is a little bit more unproven. So there's a both sides things here. Like, say Jabari, I put Jabari in there just because he's a transfer from Mizzou. Giovanni's a transfer from Idaho. That doesn't mean that Jabari is for sure a better college quarterback than Giovanni, but I'd say Jabari is the one that more people are excited about. Jabari can lean on the running game. The tight end group is also that when they go like 12 personnel, 2 tight end sets, and sort of manufacture quick passes to get guys like, Jermaine Terry and, Gabe Milborn, Bryce Caulfield, Cooper Jensen in space, that will be good for a young quarterback. But also when you lean on a running game, having a quarterback who is not going to make mistakes and allow the defense and the running game to win the game for you is also beneficial. The Chicago Bears almost won a Super Bowl with fucking Rex Grossman at quarterback with that same strategy. And Branson can fill that role too. So it's like, when I say things like that, I'm like, oh, like you put Jabari in because like there's these crutches if he's not ready, but also someone like Branson is maybe better situated to take advantage of those crutches and then surprise with, throws down the field. But like, I'm not putting the Sun Bowl tape on him at all. He hadn't played all year, but that Oregon game where we did have to run 19 times in a row, as marvelous and incredible as it was, that's not something I think you can expect to do on a weekly basis. And he had other, great performances, respectable performances. But I would say I think Beaver Nation just needs to be patient with what we see, especially early this year. I would hope that, given what we've read and heard and seen from fall camp, that they don't make a decision going into Idaho State. And kind of like JP said, ahead of San Diego State, like I would be happy. I would want to know who the starting quarterback is. But if you can't beat a rebuilding San Diego State team in San Diego on September 7th, then is the proper ambition for this season. And I think having that is huge, but your defense and your running game have to be able to win that game if fucking one of us three is under center at that point. So I'm fine with them taking the first couple
quarterback games. For JV.
Yeah, he did play quarterback for JV. I never played quarterback.
He backed up Ryan Gunderson.
And you backed up Ryan Gunderson.
Yeah, his mom.
Does Gundy have any eligibility left? I do think you should know by week 2. Like, if you're like, hey, we're going to play, if Oregon's probably still ranked number 3 in the country when we play them week 3, and it's like, all right, we just decided who our starting quarterback is. Like, most college football casuals and the national media, who we love so much, will just have a field day with that. But I do think you need to take as much time as you absolutely need to make this decision. And if it's been, I mean, look, I'm not going to tell anyone how to channel their enthusiasm, but it could still be a great season. This running game is going to be sick. This offensive line is good. It will. I think it's just going to be a more like competent conservatism that we've seen in Oregon State rule the day this year. I like our receivers, but they're so young, with the exception of Noga. Like, and I know Trent Walker. People have.
I'd be curious though to see if the coaches still announce something. Yeah, that'll be interesting.
I think where the I don't even want to call it frustration, but I think where the anticipation of the fan base comes from is you have Darius Clemens, Jordan Anderson, and Jabari Johnson, who are all 4-star recruits. And I agree with you where it's like we're probably going to have to rely on the running game, at least for the beginning of the season. But the frustration or anticipation comes into play where it's like, we're going to rely on our running game when we have 3 4-star.
But those are all, there are 3 freshmen though. Like,
I know, I know. And I'm not saying in any other
circumstance we wouldn't worry about timelines, but I think right now we have this 2-year window.
Yeah.
To hang on. And so it's almost like, even if your potential's there, if you're not game ready,
right?
Like you're kind of shit out of luck. Most teams
starting my college football 25.
I know.
I was like, I got to get this kid the ball.
Yeah.
Well, that's the
but most of the teams have time afforded to them, and we don't. Yeah. And that's why there's so much urgency around just ensuring wins.
Right, and that's fair.
And not even really maybe even building for the future yet. Like, we have to play game to game.
And is it really? Yeah, exactly. You have to play game to game, because I would argue that it's not even a 2-year thing; it's a 1-year thing, because the transfer portal hit Oregon State so hard this last year that who knows if any of those 3 players are going to stick around for next year. So yeah, it's such a different world. What do you do? I don't know. I don't know the answer to that, but I know that you have these really talented players that aren't guaranteed that they're going to be here next year. And so I think the urge is to get them involved as early and often as you can.
Yeah, see what you have with them. I agree with that.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Because that is one where it's like, and this is just kind of taking me back to the Riley years, where I think what's the point of going to 8-4 and going to the Sun Bowl every year? Which, I think there are arguments on sort of both sides of that dividing line that have merit to it. But like, yeah, I think, I don't know. I think a question to ask of greater college football, especially last year with what happened to Florida State, and a lot of this is, what's the fucking point? Like, what's the fucking point of any of this? And, that will get unpacked in a variety of ways across the country in the preceding weeks, years, whatever. I don't know if there's any point in Oregon State going 8-4 or 7-5 this year. Like, I don't know. Like, it's fine.
Agreed. No.
I won't be like mad at Bray, because I think the job he's been given is unreasonable and unfair, and he should have had more time to cook as just the CEO of the defense and building a great defense on a team that's going to keep surprising. But like, even like people say, I mean, I don't even know if winning the national championship moves the needle at all in the greater realm that we live in now. But like, situation is so.
But the national chatter will, I think 8-4, the national chatter would quiet down, and that hurts Oregon State.
Sure.
I think that anything less than that in victories, the national chatter gets louder against Oregon State. and that hurts as well.
I think it would be more
So
silent than louder, but it would hurt the same way.
I think I honestly think if we lost 5 games this year,
people would be like, "See,
yeah, exactly."
Right. And it could be a lot more.
Well, I think that people would say "see" have our whatever,
stay relevant.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Whatever.
Here's the thing, though, and I don't know. Like, I feel like this is being a little bit more negative than what maybe we need to be this time of year. But like, Bray is a first-year coach. Gundy is a first-year coordinator. We don't have a set quarterback. We have 2 new running backs. We have a bunch of freshmen at receiver. Yeah. Like, this team could go and win 10 games. They also could go and win 3 or 4 games. Like, I don't want to say that, but it's not.
You need to speak into existence.
Like, it's not true.
We're not really.
There's a possibility.
There's the possibility.
Yeah.
Which would be
we're playing
terrible.
against.
But isn't that every year? I mean, honestly, isn't that every year? Injuries, matchups, everything comes into play game by game. You never know. Like, we could have lost. Like, we could have lost a quarterback. We could have lost our running back last year. We could have lost wide receivers. Like, all of those playmakers that helped us win games. And on the defensive side, same thing. Like, anybody that was a disruptor on the defensive side, a long-term injury could have easily put a nail in a coffin of a season.
Right.
And
for sure.
And a coach who quit on the 2 games.
No, exactly.
So, which you can.
The vibes on the team are better, I think. And I want to be clear with that. Like, and I think the vibes with the fan base is probably better. I think the vibes are generally good too.
Maybe not on Twitter.
I agree. I think last year this time there was a lot of anticipation of this is our year to
win the whole
do
fucking
something.
thing.
Otherwise,
Major League
otherwise
style.
we're fucked. And we didn't, and we still got fucked.
Yeah.
So I think that anybody that's still a rational fan recognizes, like, all I can do is just enjoy what's in front of me and support these players and these coaches while they're here. And that's just the changing landscape of college football. That's the current reality of Oregon State fans. And I think last year's joy about the season was a bit, I don't know, like, forced. Like, I feel like people were like trying really hard to make a lot out of this season because we had the talent, we had a chip on our shoulder, but maybe getting all that off of us in a way, other than, of course, there's still the pressure of trying to stay relevant. But maybe that's, we don't have the coaching rumors. I mean, those were looming very early in the season. It wasn't long after the Michigan State job opened up that, like, Smith was named as someone to watch.
Yeah. And that was like the beginning of the season,
2 or 3.
Yeah.
Which happens selection, Jonathan Smith. I still,
I do agree with you, though, that there is a feeling of sort of trimming the fat, and like we've gone through, like, it's been a baptism by fire, and now it's like we can actually live as college football fans, as fans of Oregon State, and not have this like looming dark cloud over us. That it was a very weird relationship with the program and with the team and with the sport as an Oregon State fan last year.
I mean, the looming cloud is still there. I mean, we have a lot of uncertainties and unknowns, but we know that there's nothing, I don't know,
there's not really anything else they can take away
from the inside. Yeah, but
there's always like
trying to
a little bit of
sabotage it.
Right.
And last year, it truly did feel like the sky was falling. Like, it felt, I don't know. I don't know about you. I mean, it felt like it was just bad.
Well, let me
shit to come.
Add to that feeling, Benny, because we also have more current negative news to talk about, and that is another 4-star recruit, edge rusher Kelze Howard, has torn his ACL and is out for the season. And this comes after he dealt with a lot of injuries last year. The Kelze Howard era at Oregon State delayed even further. So first of all, fucking sucks for Kelze. I'm heartbroken for the kid. Good dude. Has been fun to interact with. Very charismatic, very talented, very athletic. Someone who, you can tell it will just be so fun to watch out there.
Mm-hmm. And he wants to be on the field.
And we've got to wait another year. So, I mean, ACL tears are not the same mountains to climb as they used to be. So I'm hoping that he'll be back and, ready to go in 2025. I do think it comes at a position group and on a side of the ball where Oregon State is prepared to withstand a devastating injury like this. Reading about the defense and how they've looked.
Yeah, and he's worked hard to get back to this point. That's the most heartbreaking part. And honestly, it's like you mentioned, Terry, like ACL tears in this day and age with modern science, modern medicine, like you can get through them a lot more successfully than you could have a decade, 2 decades ago.
It's just still the matter of time.
What's wild,
which sucks.
But what's wild is like how often the ACL is injured in players, athletes, not just football. When there was another leg injury that puts stress and pressure on their ACL when they try to come back. And it's almost like the advancements in medicine to help players heal from what used to be catastrophic injuries has been applied to injuries that just traditionally take longer to heal from. And they get cleared. I feel like they get cleared too early, honestly.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like it's like if we can get a guy back or an athlete back from an ACL in 9 months, well, they can come back from this in 6 months, 8 months, whatever, like a lot more of an accelerated timeline. And these, doctors, I don't claim to know more than them, but it's interesting because these secondary injuries that are ACL are feeling far more common than they used to be. And I think a lot of it is too much trust in medicine having an accelerated timeline for healing other leg injuries. And honestly, I was heartbroken to read about Kelze being out again, but it didn't surprise me because I knew what he was coming back from. And I was thinking, I hope he's taking it easy. I hope he's ready to go week 1. But like, I mean, it still happened. And it wasn't like it happened because he slipped getting out of his car on ice. Like, it happened playing football. Yeah. And it happened because clearly he was putting too much strain on his ACL and it caused it to tear. So I hope he stays patient and heals nicely and keeps his head up. I love to see him on the field for the Beavs. I can't wait for that day. If that day doesn't come, I understand. But I wish him the best in his recovery because, it's like, I mean, if he's told he can go play, what's the dude going to do? He wants to go play. I don't blame him.
Right. Yeah.
But it sucks to not be able to see him out there.
Yeah. But still, like I mentioned, a lot of good talent on this offense or on this defense, on the offense as well, but on the defense, I think guys like, drag down ball carriers in the backfield. I like that group of names.
By the way, DJ did just get a pretty spectacular card in college football ultimate team on EA Sports. If you saw, for those
I did see that.
Yeah.
That's the first, this doesn't, I guess it does. I was going to say it doesn't matter. It matters. The first year of my dynasty with Oregon State, DJ Westlock won the Heisman Trophy.
Really?
Yeah, defensive player.
Oh, let's go.
Yeah.
So Benny T and DJ winning Heisman.
I was like, Hankerson was averaging like 200 yards a game in my dynasty, but Westlock was averaging like a sack a game, and then he's the one who got it. So there you go. Also on the defensive line, Semisi Saluni has been added to the Polynesian Player of the Year award watch list, and we've seen what Semisi can do on the field, and he will be a big factor in the defensive line this year. And on the other side of the trenches is our guy Joshua Gray, named to the Lombardi Award watch list.
Yeah,
I saw
rightfully so
on OSUBeavers.com. I'm not starting to drag OSUBeavers.com because I love that website. He's 6 starts away from he's 44 career starts, 6 starts away from matching a program record. And I scoured OSUBeavers.com and every media guide they've published, as well as College Reference, Oregon State, whatever. And I could not find the player who has 50 career starts. And I'm like, couldn't that just be added of him being on the watch list? Anyway, I will keep looking and we'll
I have an
Oregon
idea
State.
of where to look.
yeah, me too.
ChatGPT.
Yeah, I am.
ChatGPT, who has started, who has the most starts for Oregon State football?
How many starts did they make?
Joshua Andrews,
Oh,
an offensive lineman who started 50 games.
Isaac Samulo, 50 games.
We have multiple.
Oh, Terry.
Wait. He had, I said, who else? And it said his 50 starts were eventually surpassed. The player with the most starts was Brandon Kipper. I got a photo with that guy.
And Brandon,
who else?
How many games did Brandon Kipper start?
53.
Okay.
What?
Joshua Andrews had 38 starts.
All right. Not super consistent is what we're discovering.
I'm using 4.0. What are you using, Benny?
4-0.
Ooh.
I said, what about Brandon Kipper? And it said Brandon Kipper actually surpassed the previous record and now holds the title for the most career starts in Oregon State football history. He had 51 starts.
Wait, it says 53.
Wow. There's still some holes to plug.
Kipper had 53. Samalo had 50. Brandell had 48. Phillip had 48.
All right, so if Joshua Gray
Andrews
plays
had
every
47.
game, who has 51 starts, and also Brandon.
Well, I asked ChatGPT, I go, I thought he had 53. He goes, you are correct. Brandon Kipper made 53 starts during his career at Oregon State.
Well, now it sounds like ChatGPT is just telling you what you want to hear.
We're all
maybe
human.
it can acknowledge its mistakes, Terry.
Yeah, like
or
a
it's
human.
trying to cover up its mistakes. I don't know.
Terry, you are a Terry.
Terry.
Nice. Anyway.
Yeah. Speaking of Terry, how about that CW Sports broadcast team?
Hey. Let's go.
I like
Ryan Leaf.
CW Sports is going to be fantastic with Ryan Leaf in the booth, Nigel Burton, Ted Robinson part of it. We mentioned Mike Yam being added to it. There's actually a great Tom Brenneman being added to CW, which will invoke a lot of responses. I would encourage you to read.
Watch out for RG3.
I would encourage you, which they should hire RG3.
They really
ESPN fired a college football analyst who said Florida State should have got in. ESPN do that. Defended Florida State on air on ESPN. One of them is fired after ESPN intentionally plays Florida State out of the college football playoff. That's not what this episode is about, but RG3 to CW. Let's do it. Benny, bigger RG3 fan than you.
Speak it into existence.
Well, I loved RG3 as a player. As you know, I love him more as a broadcaster. He's so good.
Yeah.
Tom Brenneman and that's a drive to left field by Castellanos. It'll be a tie game. I encourage you to read the profile on Brenneman published by Outsports, since he made those very unfortunate comments. And I think it's just a good story of people listening to each other and trying to be better, and also believing in second chances. And it's an experienced broadcaster on the CW. And I'm just excited about the team they've assembled and what the look and feel sounds like. It'll be pretty great. And we mentioned Mike Yam, who was on Pac-12 Network for a while. One of the best parts of Pac-12 Network, in my opinion, over the years. So yeah, we'll have dudes, and I can't wait. Ryan Leaf especially, because Ryan, that will be must see TV, because he is not gonna hold back. He's going to talk so much shit about realignment from start to finish. Yeah. And if OSU and Wazoo are having big years, and then Leaf, if either team's like 6-0, and Leaf is on one of their games, he is coming for everybody. And
it's going to be so. Awesome
we're just going to play the audio of Ryan Leaf, Nigel Burton, Beav, lots of connections to the Beavs, but Ryan Leaf, that's a big name in the college football space. He's been awesome in what he's done in broadcasting these last few years. So I'm so happy he's a part of it. And they're just making good decisions.
If you don't follow Ryan Leaf on Twitter, he is a great follow. He's a huge advocate for both Oregon State and Washington State.
And this was what we talked about too when the CW deal got announced. It's like, all right, now what? And we wanted to see small but reasonable and effective decision making taking place. And like that's what this is. Like there's clearly a plan, and this is why you don't overreact to one thing. Like you see the one thing and you got to see, what's the next thing, and then what's the other thing. And it seems like they're just kind of like, all right, what if we were in charge of Pac-12 network the whole time? What would we do? And it's going to be great just because of games being on and following the ACC games and East Coast time slots. I think it's going to work out really well.
Though I have heard rumblings and read rumblings that every local affiliate has their own discretion around broadcasting these games.
So
something to keep an eye on.
So like the CW in fucking Cleveland has no.
If they feel like that,
no one's gonna watch this. Okay,
some old sitcom or drama is gonna outdraw an Oregon State or Washington State game. They could theoretically not broadcast it.
Be interesting to see how much that happens.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, football is king.
If I'm in Oregon is playing,
I'm calling my CW affiliate. Absolutely.
Yeah,
I'm tweeting, calling.
King of Queens is on.
I'm posting a TikTok of me screaming at the camera. You name it. I am
giving him as much bad press as you possibly
pulling out all the stops. I'm gonna get a cameo made of some celebrity ripping them.
Ooh, that's a good idea.
I know.
That's not I agree. That's not a bad idea. Who would you
get celebrities who all starred in old sitcoms. Like get the whole cast of like Dawson's Creek and Felicity to do it as people who acted in shows that the CW would use to play instead of Oregon State games.
That's good.
Like if you get James Vanderbeek to be like, fuck you,
but look what Greg Oden did for you, Terry, when I got him to call you out.
Hey,
he got me a job.
I was gonna say
he got you a job. Well, he forced you to get a job.
Right. He willed it into the universe for me to get a job, and then I got a job. I think I maybe already had a job, but whatever. We'll give Greg Oden credit.
Yeah, give him credit,
he was funny, and I like Greg Oden.
For our listeners, JP got us all cameos from Greg Oden. Us meaning
this was early Terry. Cameo. So like a lot of us were seeing cameo what it was in gift box icon, and then Greg Oden is
website.
It's this. I was Greg Oden in my apartment right now.
Yeah, he's still pretty affordable. It's only $50 a video. He was at the time like 15.
Cameo.
Yeah,
dude. I didn't see mine for like a year. Do you remember that? I thought it was just Terry. Yeah.
No, there was.
You don't remember that?
No.
Yeah, I was like,
I didn't know you went.
We were talking about it, JP. You were like,
I remember you being like, "Oh, I didn't know."
What about your one? And I was like, mine. And you're like, yeah, your the Greg Oden video I sent to you.
Oh yeah,
and I didn't know. And then I had it was a year later.
He's like, "Hey, Benny,
one of the things,
wishing you a happy New Year. I hope everything comes true for you." And it's like 2013 already. This year sucks. Damn it! I wish I'd done this sooner.
You were wrong, Greg.
Yeah, but you know what? On his own reasons to get a video on his Cameo page, I just pulled it up. The third listed reason is to roast someone. So it's money well spent if you want Greg Oden to roast your friend,
Greg Oden to roast
your loved one. Yeah, $50.
Let's get him to roast ESPN. Wow.
He'll promote our business. Yeah. We should get him to make a commercial for us.
Ooh, that'd be fun.
Or get him to roast Dan Lanning.
That'd be funny.
Oh. And then Oh yeah.
The other thing, the really poignant part of that whole first cameo experience was the one you got for our friend Funky Paul Molina from Roni Turioff, who just said, "Hi, Paul. Your friend JP wants me to call you Funky Paul Molina, but I'm not going to." And then he said, like,
he did.
"Happy birthday," or whatever, like Happy New Year or Happy Holidays, whatever that was for. I think it was the holidays. And then he was just like, "All right, bye." And it's like, "Cool, Roni, you could have fun with this." And then I worked with Roni when he was in material, and got that same attitude pretty much every day. So not shocking.
He worked for the Timberwolves?
Well, he played for the Timberwolves when I worked for the Timberwolves.
Oh, okay.
But I was on the PR team.
He didn't technically work.
He didn't really work either, to be honest.
That's true.
We logged it just about the same amount of minutes.
Fiancé?
Did we watch what?
90 Day Fiancé?
No, but I'm familiar enough with it to. If you have, was you Roni Turioff?
I got Yuri.
You got Yuri on 90 Day Fiancé? Did you steal her from Roni Turioff? Is that where the story is going?
Oh, wow. What a twist.
Yeah. Ask ChatGPT to come up with better twists as fast as I just did.
Oh, man.
Suck it, ChatGPT.
Right. I'll never use ChatGPT again. I'm only calling Terry.
Do it.
But you better fucking text me faster than you have been about the Idaho State game, Terry.
We're finalized.
We are finalized now.
I didn't text you back immediately today, but that's because I did.
I had some funny
You did have some funny texts that were just for me, and I appreciated them. And I'm going to see you a week from Friday, and I can't wait.
Yeah, me neither.
I forget why JP can't come, but this one is just for us.
It's my 10th wedding anniversary.
Yeah,
that's right.
But
and we're out of town.
This
is the same thing you told me. You're deflecting just like your bachelor party, where I'm like, you're planning this over my wife's birthday.
I intentionally scheduled the first weekend of March Madness to be on your wife's birthday.
Why can't we watch the first round of March Madness?
It is the first round of March Madness.
No, it's the first weekend.
Sure. Which has the first round?
Isn't the weekend the second round?
What we all recognize, what logical people everywhere recognize as the first round of March Madness.
No, isn't it round of 32 is the weekend?
The round of
the first round being
round is Thursday, Friday. The round of 32.
Yeah.
So come to Vegas. I'll get to Vegas.
I'll come to Vegas on Tuesday.
Your wife's birthday's on Saturday. I'll
be there for your bachelor party, but I'll only be there by myself.
12 hours.
I'll go down there early with you.
Yeah, come on early with me.
Yeah, I'll do that.
I was planning to get there Wednesday anyway.
We'll fucking go and park up at Stadium Swim. By park up, I mean grab the same pool spot that we were at last time.
Right.
Yeah, and y'all know I could sleep in a bathtub. So
yeah, I do know that.
Stadium Swim has bathtubs.
Those are facts.
No, I'll just stay in the pool all night sleeping. Yeah. Sorry, mom and dad.
Yeah, that's the bit of you sleeping in a pool. We haven't said anything more incriminating in 154 episodes.
Dude, speaking of Vegas, I got on this kick on YouTube of watching people win big. People winning big on slot machines. It's Buffalo! Like a rabbit hole. And there was. Dude, I have to send you the video. It's like
JP, you do have to come to Vegas because I've never met anyone luckier than you on that shit.
I'm going to only play the Buffalo slots.
We'll play.
As you should.
Yeah, there's a guy that won.
Yet to lose a single.
I know.
It's insane.
The amount of free spins you got.
It just didn't stop.
Unbelievable.
I just sat there for like at least 5 minutes of it just rolling and rolling and rolling. It was beautiful. And it sounded amazing.
There were a couple times where we were trying to get through the casino and you're like, oh, there's a Buffalo game. I'm just going to pull one time. And it was 15 free spins after that.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, Buffalo, man. Buffalo Extreme.
It works for you.
That's the one.
I tried.
That's true. Yeah.
I tried to be adjacently lucky and it didn't work a single time.
And then I took over your machine, and what happened?
Yeah, you got 50 free spins on the first try.
Buffalo.
Yeah. Do you remember that we had an intro? What episode was that? Where it was just the Buffalo.
It would have been last October because that was when we were there for Benny's bachelor.
Oh yeah.
It's like mid-October. Check the mid-October episodes.
All right.
You can do that.
Are you at the Grimace?
In the meantime, we should probably go and put this fucking episode to bed. But
I got it, maybe. But
we can't end the episode without at least mentioning that next week's episode 155.
Yes,
better than Christmas, baby. Everyone waits for Belligerent Beavs predictions episode we've ever done. Wait. We didn't even know it was 19 times in a row. We love podcasting.
Yeah.
Will this be the year? Down to the score and everything.
Hey, was it before we had Big Game Boomer on the pod?
I don't remember. Probably.
It was episode 110.
Okay.
Maybe.
Sounds
I
right.
need to go back and listen to that. I forgot what we talked to him about.
Stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good answer.
Football.
Like stuff and shit.
Football and coffee.
Sports and things.
He loves coffee.
Yeah. He did like the coffee.
It is a good coffee scene.
Yeah. A lot of options.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we'll need to get caffeinated up when we're there.
Inner zone.
Oh, hey, we'll be across the street. We'll be across the street at the Hilton, and they have a great breakfast with a lot of coffee as well. So
I've never been to their breakfast.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
And
it's going to be hot too.
And
I know we have to get out of here, but bring your sunscreen.
I will. Oh. We got a room with 2 beds too, but the guy at the hotel said we could share beds if we want.
You should.
One for sleep and one for play, as I like to say. Just kidding. Benny and I are not going to hook up in Corvallis, maybe. But
you never know.
We'd love to
hook
up with you in the meeting sense of the word. Tailgates or on Beaver Street or at the Peacock or McMinimans or somewhere where we'll be hanging out.
Peacock for sure.
We'll be there. We'll be around. I can't wait. 2 nights in Corvallis. Not quite enough, but we'll make it work.
And Labor Day weekend.
Mm-hmm. Long weekend.
Can't wait. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So if it's not your 10-year wedding anniversary, you should be at the Oregon State Idaho State game. So we will see all of you who are not celebrating your 10-year anniversary that one weekend from this weekend. Can't wait. And we will recap all of the shenanigans on the Belligerent Beavs podcast. We've got football season, guys. We're back.
Woo, we're so back.
Bray Area. Let's win the whole fucking thing. Fuck everybody.
Do it.
Beavs versus everybody. Yeah. Fuck everyone who isn't us. Go Beavs. Chop them. You can't spell chop them without hope. And I'm supposed to say at the end, I'll say a few more things like, hey, listen and follow the Belligerent Beavs podcast at Belligerent Beavs and at Belligerent Beavs everywhere else. Please, if you're still listening at this point, hour 33 into the show, you probably like it enough to give it a 5-star review if you haven't yet. So please, whether it's Spotify, Apple, YouTube, or wherever you get your podcast, please make sure you are subscribed and give us a 5-star review. It really helps us grow the show a lot. And also love word of mouth. It's not just a great album by Ludacris. It is a great, effective growth and marketing tool. So please take this moment to share the show with a friend and be like, these guys are really enthusiastic and fun. They've clearly been friends for a long time, and they might be in a room with 2 double beds and share a double bed anyway, because that's cute. I don't know. I didn't really get that. If it was a joke, I didn't get it. If it's serious, that's weird, but whatever. They're sincere. So share the show with a friend. Be like, Belligerent Beavs, this is fun. We've done it 154 times now, and we're going to do it for 154 million more, or until we die. Whichever comes first.
Which is never.
Beavers never say die and never do die. So joining me as always on this beautiful journey that we call the Belligerent Beavs podcast are my best friends from college, Benjamin Lawrence, Sebastian Hage, aka Benny with the good cough, aka Benny Bedlam because he's fucking crazy, folks, aka Benny Bowl Game, aka Benny Blastoff, aka Benny Burner. You can follow him at Benny-L 1986 across social media channels. And our fearless leader, the man making all the merch, Jay from the Bay, JP, aka JP, Bayp, J Bay,
AKA JP.
AKA celebrating his 10th anniversary the weekend that Oregon State plays Idaho State, so he can't hang out with me. But JP Bertram, at JP Bertram on Instagram. He's at the Trial J on Twitter. That's at the _Trial _J, because he's too trial to be real. To be Terry Horseman. That's at Terry Horseman on Twitter and at Terrence Horseman on Instagram.com. Give me a follow or don't. I don't really care. The show is on Twitter at Belligerent Beavs and at Belligerent Beavs, basically everywhere else. That means TikTok and YouTube and Blue Sky, MySpace, Friendster, Napster, Shitstirrer, as we are a few shitstirrers.
Hey.
At cameo.com/Greg Oden. Basically everywhere. If you want to book us for a cameo, Venmo us like $1.50 and we'll send you a video of us saying whatever the hell you want us to say. And yeah, tune in next week to the always anticipated and very fun to make predictions episode of the Belligerent Beavs podcast. Benny's got plans. He does not do the same thing every year. So you'll have to tune in to see what his plans are for this year. That'll be here next week. Rate and review, like and subscribe everywhere you go. This is the second to last time we talk to you before Oregon State football season is in action. This historic, very important, but also highly confusing will be here to pretend like we know through all of it. And always remember, no matter what they do, no matter what they say, no matter what they take away, that they categorically cannot spell chop 'em without hope. So chop 'em.
Chop 'em.
Chop 'em.
Beavs back, baby.